Welcome to the Morning Click, everybody. We have such a fabulous show. I came to work early today, but of course we can't start any earlier than the show actually airs. But I was ready because this is really a special show. First of all, I don't ever really get to see David Webb from Strategy Room as a guest, and also better known for his Sirius radio hit, The David Webb Show. And Eric Yaverbaum of TappeningNow.com, or is it just Tappening?
Happening.com.
I think because I do Happening Now, I add
That's
it,
right.
Happening.com. And also the author of a ton of books, including PR for Dummies, which
That's
is
right.
one of my favorites. It's a book that you just highlight. And I guess because it's got that title, maybe it was ready-made for me. But anyway, both these gentlemen in the same room. This is just going to be a fabulous hour, and we're going to talk. Eric Yaverbaum, David Webb, welcome to Morning Click.
Thanks for having us. This is the first time we've seen each other since the Tea Party in Times Square.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Since you got me in all that trouble.
I got him in a lot of trouble. I am ruining his Democrat creds.
Yeah, well,
I'm
you
running
were.
out of friends.
Yeah, well, you were kind of trampling on those yourself, though. You got into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I got into a lot of trouble for asking questions that, ironically, we were just talking about this before. A lot of people are asking now.
Whether they're
Good,
Democrat or
responsible-
Republican.
It doesn't make a difference. We're just asking good, responsible questions and let the math add up for all of us. I'll vote. I'll vote along party lines if the math makes sense, but I can't figure it out. It doesn't make sense to me.
Now, is that something that's changed for you because of the economy? I mean, or have you always kind of been
No,
focused
you know,
on
I
that?
looked at cap and trade was like, when I read that bill, which you know that I did, took me 2 weeks to do it.
You're the only one I know who's read the whole thing.
I know,
Yeah.
but you do the math. Get out your calculators, do the math. It does not work. It's impossible. And that's enlightening to me. Why can we not ask the question then? If the math doesn't work, we got an issue.
I don't
Doesn't
know,
matter
it's your
whether we're
party.
Well, it doesn't matter whether I'm a Democrat or whether I'm a
It's our money. It's your party.
That's right. It's our money. It's our kids. It's our future. The math doesn't work. And now we're heaping new bills on new bills on new bills. The math didn't work for the first bill I looked at.
So
That's
what
what
we're
we're
earning, right?
Yeah, they're going to close.
They better not close the one in my town.
Yeah,
Well, you
so
know,
we've got a 66. Think about it. 1 billion. Now we add 2 billion more. This is how the
Well, if
government
it
runs.
passes, it might be
If
in
it
trouble,
passes,
right?
but this is the government running an efficient operation.
You know, gosh.
That's
you
a
guys-
success.
But don't be so sure that. I don't know that all of these things are going to pass. They're certainly not.
See, this
I
is
hope
my
it doesn't.
question. Do you think this is going to pass, this cash for clunkers? Because then,
Well, cash for clunkers to me is a smaller issue than some of the bigger issues.
Okay.
I get what you don't like about it.
Well, $2
My sister
billion
just
more
told me
dollars.
My sister drives the biggest clunker I have ever seen in my life, and it's not eligible. I'm saying, my God,
Why?
how bad? I don't. I guess it gets the gas mileage.
See, that's
it
what you
gets
get for speaking at the Tea Party. They cut your sister's eligibility.
I
Not
know.
only do they
I
get
know,
into
I
our
said-
computer, but they cut her
So how can they
eligibility.
not- I will pay you to get that car off the
oh,
road.
that's hysterical. But no, with the cash for clunkers, I just use that as an example of things where the numbers don't add up. Yeah, Representative
Well, it wasn't
Hoekstra,
that they didn't add up. It's that we ran out like that.
they didn't add
So
up.
where
They
was
didn't
the-
anticipate
We
that
did
these
great planning
dealers
for a week.
Well,
were
hold
going
it.
to going to take these clunkers in and not necessarily sell a car for everyone they took. That's part of the problem too. So what you call them were massively attended in that state because all the politicians were coming through. Bob Dole was
but I
running.
mean,
So, yeah.
and you're partial politically. Did you find him? I personally, I found him mesmerizing.
I'm saying the stops were packed with people.
But you can sit at a table with him.
You're the only one there. There
you're
could be
that's
50
right,
people
that's
in the
right.
room. You're
That's
the
right.
only one at
And
the
you
table
feel
with Bill
that
Clinton.
with him.
Absolutely.
And I think he's a wonderful choice to send. And I think if there's any chance that we're going to bring them home, that he's a great selection.
I agree. I mean, the man's got amazing charisma.
Oh no! Come
Yeah,
on.
come
No,
on.
I mean,
He's
this
got
is what I'm
amazing
hearing
charisma.
from a lot of people
Yeah,
on the right on Twitter this morning.
Yeah.
Not just Dan Gaynor. I singled him out because that's a name that people here in the strategy room would know. But it is interesting to look at some of these tweets that people say, you know what, we love freedom.
Well,
We're all
let's-
for it.
It's not a
Yesterday.
birthday. This is a meeting masked as a birthday party, and yes, we'll see him blowing out the candles. on
Maybe
the
I
cake.
don't know if there's going to be a cake or whatever.
There will be a cake, and we're going to see it on the news.
Well,
So
wait,
here's what Gibbs said yesterday. They're going to continue to talk about the accomplishments from the first 6 months, and then, quote, because it's the president's birthday and Chuck E. Cheese was booked, that's why we're doing it there. I just think that's very funny. Anyway, you know, because it was
know
a
who's
serious
writing these
question.
jokes.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was
I don't
gonna
know.
say, yeah.
I just thought that was bizarre.
Maybe they ought to hire you back in
The
there.
accomplishments of the first 6 months. And then Gibbs was asked, do you think they'll talk about health care? I doubt that health care will be discussed.
Well, hold it. This is Robert Gibbs you're talking about. So take it from the horse's
You
mouth,
have
so
all
to
the
speak.
Senate Democrats. The health care bill has not come out of there. It's out of committee, but now it goes to the full Senate. They're in recess. You've got an opportunity to talk to them all in one room, and you don't talk about health care?
Of course he is, but Gibbs, who's very trained at what he does, if he says yes, they will, that opens the door to the questions that follow.
So you're the marketing master here.
But that is exactly what the
I-
trained guy does. He shuts that down because he doesn't want to answer the next 10 questions if the answer is yes. He's not prepared to answer the next 10 questions.
He said the economy will be discussed. Well, he says the continuation for cash for clunkers, which without help from the Senate will likely mean that the program will have to be stopped by the end of this week. Now that's optimistic because last Tuesday it only had $4 million left.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was.
And my sister can't get her car money.
Well, no, I'm telling you.
We're going to have a fundraiser to get
They
your
started
sister
out with
into
$1 billion
that
the
car.
week before, and by last Tuesday, a few days in, they were down to $4 million. I don't even think it went through this weekend, unless
They guaranteed, according to the White House, I believe they were going to guarantee any deals through the weekend.
Now, how do you think you can do that if the first $1 billion were already spent, less $4 million?
When you've got the votes, you go back and you arm twist a few people, or you find the presidential
They're spending
degree.
money that they haven't even received yet. That's how I read this. Am I wrong about that?
Maybe
You're
when
the
they-
numbers guy.
Well, clearly, the money. I mean, what's a bummer about it is that, to me, people may look at it differently. It's a junior varsity issue, but the problem is that this issue shows the amount of planning that went into putting the program into place. Because, oh, where's all the money? Gosh, we ran out of it so early. Oops. Well, now we're talking about serious money, and we're supposed to trust the same people who botched the junior varsity plan. That makes me nervous.
Are you sure you're a Democrat?
You guys
I'm
are
getting
killing
confused
me.
I'm
sometimes.
starting to like this guy.
I get confused
Yeah,
sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, no,
Well, I do know,
Listen,
because
here's the thing is that yes, I'm a Democrat. I'm just have questions I don't understand, and would somebody
Do they
please
make you sit in
answer?
the back of the room?
Now they do. Now,
Actually,
I used to sit in the front of the room.
I think you were actually at the front of the room in Democrat math class, and he got it right. The Congress was sitting in the back with
Very
the president.
interesting. All right, so then Gibbs says that now if Donald Trump has learned that lesson, I'm surprised the federal government doesn't get it because they keep doing it.
Well, look,
rush it through, it doesn't work. Rush it through faster, it still doesn't work.
In defense of my own party and the federal government, I mean, everybody was feeling like we needed. Doing nothing was not an option. There was things that we needed to do, and we needed to do in a quicker, faster period of time than we usually do. But what I would say is not quite this fast. Line up get everything in order before we're going to implement programs that we're going to find out on the back end we don't even have the money for.
Let me ask you this, because I know
What really worries me is this issue of taxes. I mean, Bush Sr., read my lips, did not get reelected because we read his lips, and what he said that we were supposed to read was wrong. So when we're not going to tax $250,000 and under, if we end up doing that, read my lips is going to come back to haunt Obama, and there won't be a second term.
Karen Medicaid.
But
I sound like a broken record, but I say if you can fix what's broken
so
now.
we don't rush it through. We all get a chance to sit back and take a harder look at it, and hopefully Republicans and Democrats together can come up with a better
Can I tell you a concern I have, though, with this particular administration? Just now